All right, guys, we got three more tight ends to get through in this draft, and we are done with the position. And we're obviously getting down to the bottom here, so it's going to be really, really hard to find what we're looking for here. You can find NFL caliber tight ends down here all day, of course, do it all the time. But again, it needs to be stressed, we're looking for a specific kind of tight end in theory. So finding an athletic, speedy tight end who can make plays and do a lot of things revolving around catching the ball, it can be kind of hard in these parts of the draft. It can be done, but they're not necessarily going to make themselves obvious. They're often not going to be super athletic. That's why they're in this part of the draft. So understand that there might be some decent guys here, and there might be some guys that I even grade fairly well, but I also understand there's really no room for them. There's no opportunity to incorporate them on this team right now because it's just not the situation. Payne Durham is the first guy I'm going to take a look at here, and he is... I call them the Will Dissly types, and that's kind of a broad brush, and I don't mean they're exactly like Will Dissly, but they fill a similar role in an offense. Purdue Boilermaker, 23 years old. He's pretty big, 6'6". He's 4'8", 7, 40, and 1'6", 110-yard split. Paints the picture of a very slow and relatively slow accelerating player. He's got really long arms, though. He's not a terrible athlete for his size, I guess. Most of the big boards have him getting drafted. Sports Illustrated and the Draft Network actually have him in like the 4th. The aggregate has him in the 6th. I think that's a pretty reasonable expectation right now. He did produce a good amount the last couple of years. He's got over 100 catches and 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns. So he's productive. Don't get me wrong. He's been very productive for that Purdue team. And here's the thing. He's very new to playing football. He was playing, I think it was lacrosse until a few years ago. So he has upside to get better just because he's new to the game. He's really good against zone defense, gets open well, understands how to find the holes in the zone. Solid all-around blocker, good in the red zone, tries hard, lines up in the slot, and does some damage. But he's just not a very good mover. He's slow and clumsy in space. He isn't a very good route runner, not doing stuff after the catch. It's a Will Dissly type. He should be a tight end 2 or a tight end 3 in a good offense. He's not going to get open enough to do much else. He's a pure blocking tight end with a little bit of receiving upside as a possession receiver. And there's certainly a place in the world for a guy like that, but for me, I'm not touching him until the 6th round. And even then, it's like, what's he going to do here? Are we going to have 2 Will Dissly types on the field at once? Okay, next guy is going to be Davis Allen. He's in a somewhat similar boat, but I do kind of like him a little bit more because he's more versatile. Clemson Tiger, 22 years old, pretty big, 6'6", 245 pounds though. A little bit lean. 32 and a quarter inch arms, 10-inch hands. 4'8", 440, 1'6", 10-yard split, 38 and a half inch vert, 10 foot 5-inch broad. So actually not a terrible overall athlete, but slow. He moves slow. Most of the big boards have him actually. Most of the big boards I found had him in the 4th, but there were also a couple that had him going barely drafted or undrafted. It averaged out to the 6th round, 201 overall. Last year was his best year. 40 catches, 440 yards, 5 touchdowns, only 1 drop. Decent run block grade. So, he's a nice player. Davis Allen, nice player. He's versatile. He lines up all over the place. You can have him as an H-back. You can have him as a tight end in line. You can have him in the slot. They even lined him up outside a little bit at Clemson, I think. He's a big, tall dude. He's going to have some advantages just because of that. And he made a lot of plays deep down the field, even though he's slow. He does have a little bit of a knack for that, although you don't know how much that's going to translate. He understands leverage well when he's blocking. He's a technically sound blocker. You throw the ball his way, he's going to make a play on it. He's got good ball skills, and he's got long arms. He's got the reach. He's going to be able to make a play on it. He can jump well, too. He can make plays on the ball through contact and tight coverage. He's a contested catch guy all day. And I think he's got pretty good hands. So, nice player. I like him a little more than Durham, but he has the same, or at least similar problems. He's slow. He doesn't move well. Awkward mover. Doesn't get open a lot. Not going to do anything after the catch. He's not a yard after the catch guy at all. He's a mediocre overall blocker. despite his technique. I don't think he's ever going to be a great blocker. He's just a little too lean, I guess. I mean, at 245 pounds, 6'6", not really good. Um, I do think that he has a place as a quality NFL player. He's got good ball skills and he's got good versatility. I would take him in the 5th round if there was a need, but again, this is not really what you're looking for when you're trying to replace a Noah Fant. You're trying to get a number 1 super athletic tight end who can do crazy stuff athletically to dominate matchups against linebackers and defensive backs. That's not this guy. Davis Allen, he's just going to be a chain mover and a versatile weapon, and he's going to efficiently go through his reps, but he's more of a Will Dissly replacement, if anything, and we don't need to replace Will Dissly yet. All right, one more guy, one more tight end, and we're done. And I'll tell you, this guy is fun. Braden Willis of the Oklahoma Sooners. I'm not going to say I'm that excited about him. I'm not going to say he's going to be great, but he's fun. He's entertaining, and that counts for something. So 23 years old, 6'3.5", 241 pounds, a little bit small, 33.25-inch arms, pretty good, 9.75-inch hands, sure. Decent explosive. Oh, we missed a word there. Yeah, explosiveness is 3-cone, pretty bad. 20. So his testing was not very good. 20 bench press reps is okay, I guess. Most of the big boards I found actually had him going in the 7th, and the aggregate has him just outside the 7th. So he's a fringe draftable guy, basically. Had a nice year last year for Oklahoma. 3 catches a game, 500 yards in 13 games, 7 touchdowns, 3 drops, but a really good run block grade for whatever that's worth. And here's the thing. They used him all different kinds of ways at Oklahoma. They aligned him as a tight end, a slot receiver, outside receiver, H-back. He was even used as like a wildcat quarterback. And he was able to throw the ball as a trick play. They actually used him on those reverse wide receiver passes where he was the receiver that threw the ball. He was good on those trick plays. I think he's an okay athlete for his size, I guess. Like, he moves a little smoother than you would expect on the field. I do think these combine results are a little bit unflattering to him, but he's just a decent athlete. He's got the long arms. He's pretty good at making plays after the catch as well. He gives a ton of effort as a blocker. He proved himself able to find the holes in zone defense and get open against man defense. So some versatility there as well. And like I said, trick play upside. You can do wildcat. You can do wide receiver passes with him. Fun stuff. But at the end of the day, he's undersized and not very strong. His route tree is very limited. And you're not going to get the mileage out of him unless you're using him in very creative ways. And that's not what we need. At the end of the day, he's a fun player. I would love to have him in the right circumstance. This is not that circumstance. So 6th round just for fun would be my grade. But again, it's just not going to fix the issues with this team if they trade Noah Fant. So it's hard for me to really get behind it. All right, that's the tight ends. We found a couple of interesting guys as sleepers. But for the most part, if you are moving off of Noah Fant, if that does happen in the next couple weeks here, then you probably need to attack tight end within the first couple of rounds if you really want to address it. All right, I'll see you guys later on tonight. Probably going to stream on a Twitch. Go Hawks. Moving on to a new position tomorrow, and tomorrow will be a pretty quick evaluation.